the grandson of a civil rights leader meets a presidential candidate. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down exclusively with Abe Jenkins, the grandson of Esau Jenkins, to talk about his trip with Beto O Rourke around Johns Island. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and listen to this interview next week on iHeartRadio. Abe Jenkins.
Quintin, how are you, sir?
Great, great.
Good to be in your presence.
Thank you so much, and welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Good to be back. Good
Yes,
to be
sir.
back.
Yes,
You
sir.
are a celebrity.
I thank you all.
Yes, sir. I feel honored and privileged to be on your show.
Oh, thank you greatly.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to have you back. And I want to take a break from Hurricane Dorian right now.
Oh, please.
Yeah,
Yes.
oh, yes. Let's pray to God it does not come here. But obviously, you made some great news over the weekend. And obviously, a lot of people were talking about this over on Facebook, is that you actually rode around with Democratic presidential candidate Beto O Rourke.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And let me give you a little context, because obviously you're the grandson of the late Esau Jenkins,
Right.
who made a lot of strides for many people on the islands and beyond. And you actually took Beto on a ride through Johns Island to talk about healthcare and other issues. What was it like to be you?
What was it like to be me? Well, I just felt like I was a tour guide, like somebody giving someone a tour. And it just happened to be about a relative of mine, a great man, my grandfather, Esau Jenkins. So it was fun telling the story and getting him familiar. And even Beto surprised me because he did a little homework before we took the tour. So there were some facts that he knew, and it was a good, pleasant conversation.
What is the conversation now about really healthcare in your particular part of the Lowcountry?
Healthcare. Oof. Well, you know, I'm one of the advocates of Medicare for all. I think that healthcare is a right now, is a right that we all should have, and I hate to see anybody denied access to healthcare or go broke because they can't afford their prescription drugs or can't afford to go to the hospital and get the type of attention and care that they really need. Preventative maintenance, you know, is something really critical that people should have the opportunity to see a doctor and not wait till you're sick, but prevent you from getting sick, I think is the answer to our healthcare issues.
And you talked totally about the facts while Beto and you were taking a tour around Johns Island. What are the facts right now when it comes to Johns Island, the state of Johns Island in your mind?
Oh, boy, that's a long one now. We might be here forever talking about that. But but Johns Island, there's infrastructure problems. Flooding is a critical issue right now. And there's overdevelopment and people are being gentrified, so they're moving away from the island. The folk that originally grew up on Johns Island, especially African Americans, are now having to move and relocate and live elsewhere. And it's a serious, serious issue, all of those things combined. And I think what happened over the years is that the city annexed part of Johns Island.
Sure.
And then they're beginning to just develop everything that they can get their hands on that's part of the city limits. Johns Island today is totally different than it was 10 years ago. It's just like, what in the world is going on? And the development has led to flooding issues, has led to the infrastructure problems, and I know you're well aware of the traffic congestion and the issues about 526 and all those type of things, but all of it is all related. All of it is all related, and I guess the bottom line, the thing that drives it all is greed and money.
And let me ask you this. If your grandfather were alive today, what would he think of Johns Island?
I think that if my grandfather was alive today, he would be fighting passionately to protect the property and the land that folk have owned for decades or centuries, over centuries in the family. He'd be fighting passionately to maintain that rural character of the island as much as possible. And if there was growth, I know that he'd be an advocate for doing it the smart way, not taking anybody's home, and certainly not gentrification where the property taxes and the value has gone so high that the people who really lived on that land can now not afford to stay there anymore. So he would be leading the charge. I'm quite sure he'd be leading the charge for that, along with education and all the other issues that he fought for so passionately in the late 50s or early 60s. We've got some of the same issues going. It looks like it just came back around. They don't look the same, but at the root of it, it's pretty much the same issues.
What does Esau Jenkins and Beto O Rourke have in common?
Have in common? Well, I think Beto. I don't quite know Beto's. I'm not an advocate of Beto O Rourke. I was asked to give him the tour. He's not my preferred candidate, but he's a good candidate. I think all of the candidates running are very good candidates. But I think Beto has a passion for people. He certainly has a passion for people, and I noticed that with the shooting and the things that went on in El Paso. He stopped his campaigning. He was very passionate about gun control and so forth. And so I think the commitment to his fellow man is what relates Esau Jenkins and Beto O Rourke.
What do you and Beto have in common?
Pretty much the same thing. My commitment to my fellow man. I want what's good for everybody, and I think I'm a fair person. I try not to look at black and white. I want everybody to be treated equally. So I think I try to keep it well balanced and try to put myself in another person's shoes.
Well, the Honorable Abe Jenkins, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Well, tell me about your moderation for the mayor's debate coming up on Thursday. That's what I want to hear.
Let's pray to God the hurricane will stay away from Charleston, God willing. We'll be able to do that at the Charleston Marriott at 7 o'clock Thursday night.
All right.
Longford Drive.
I'll be there to watch you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you then there too.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Anytime.
Good deal.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah.